Peace, family. This is Camps in the Oracle, one half of Remnants Gathering. And I want to drop a quick Dark Goddess wisdom. I want to just create a moment with y'all. This may be triggering for some. So, but that's, I'm just letting you know in case you don't want to be triggered, challenged. But I'm going to express this wisdom that I have entered into and take from it whatever, resonates with you. I've been wondering why I had the crow show up in my meditation very first time when I asked, are there any spirit animals that I haven't acknowledged that would like to make their presence known? And the crow showed up, and I've been wondering more about why. I've been wondering about the spider that we showed y'all that posted up on the bedroom window for months. We ended up finally moving him or her to the tree. I call her. But I've been wondering about these things. And what I have come to understand is that we are entering a crossroads in our personal lives, relationships, and also on a collective level. This is a crossroads that has been prophesied about by many ancient cultures and text. One of the most recent ways of describing this crossroad would be the rapture, or the harvest, or the separating of wheat and tares. The Mayans talked about it, and 2021 is actually 2012, so the old world is indeed ending. And December 21st, you can expect to experience a full reset of a new world that we have been entering into little by little. The Dark Goddess wisdom that I want to share with you is this. The path of the spiritual awakening is blissful, and it's also painful. And in order for you to integrate and manifest the things that you desire to manifest, there are some things that must die. There are some decisions that must be made. And there are some new paths that must be taken. And this is the crossroads where we have entered. For a long time, we have all been socially engineered, indoctrinated, and programmed to be the anti or the villain of truth. And for many of us, it's subconscious and unconscious. For all of us, I think that it's subconscious and unconscious. We suppress our own truth and we suppress others. And with this crossroads and this dark time that we are entering, and when I say dark, I mean entering into the subconscious unconsciousness that has created our world and our personal reality and world. These things are being unveiled and uncovered. So when you hear me use terms like that, that's what I'm meaning. Now, we have become lynch mobs. We don't allow people to speak their truth. We don't allow our children to speak their truth. We don't allow our spouses to speak their truth. Not without paying a heavy price for speaking their truth. And if the truth happens to be something that does not resonate with us or feel comfortable with us, or if the truth, as long as the truth doesn't challenge us or trigger us, we're okay with it. And that's not truth. See, those are conditions. The reason why a lot of people have not stepped into their purpose is because their purpose is going to require them to show their authentic selves to the world. But we have all been trained that showing yourself to the world, being vulnerable, speaking your truth, especially if it's not something that other people feel is true, you're going to pay for it. You may lose friends, you may lose family. People will pull away, their help and support from you if you don't live your life the way they want you to, or live an expression of the truth that they feel is true. And we have all been conditioned this way. We do not accept people the way that they are, but we want people to accept us the way that we are. And so the hypocrisy is being purged from us, and is being made to be very apparent. And I have to compare this to police officers who kill innocent people. It's just as aggressive and malicious to not allow another soul to express their truth, live in their truth, whatever it may be. Now, if that truth is something and is leading to abuse or things like that, that's different. You want to get away from things that are toxic and not good for you. But I'm talking about our everyday life, the way we treat people that come into our circle of influence, and the thoughts and behaviors and patterns that we have been following as a society and as a people in our culture is being challenged. This is the ultimate dark path. We on a collective level are going in and out of dark nights of the soul. This is the 3 days of darkness. All these things talked about, this is what it's talking about. We are entering into the unconscious and subconscious mind and created the matrix that we're all living in, and a lot of us are trying to get free from and recreate and go into a higher consciousness. But in order for you to go into a higher consciousness, first you must go low. In order for you to create heaven on earth, first you must go to hell. You must go to Hades. You must go to the underworld. And what is your underworld? What are the things that make you uncomfortable? And and so I was sitting here today like, okay, I really need to do the weekly tarot card reading, which is something I committed myself to doing for free for you guys, because at some point it will be membership based, but this is just me sowing seeds into good ground, hopefully, that you all appreciate, that I feel will bring forth a harvest and will assist us and in helping each other to grow and to evolve. But the demonization of darkness, the demonization of truth, the demonization of being a free thinker, the demonization of being a rebel, like all of this has been taught to us as wrong, bad, and suppressed, to the point where a lot of us are living in fear. We are afraid to show our authentic selves. We are afraid to express our truth, and we definitely are afraid to live out loud. And you cannot live out loud when you are not being who you really are. And you don't even accept yourself. So what happens when you don't accept certain truths about yourself, shadow aspects that may be painful to look at, what happens is you don't allow anybody else outside of you to do it either. And so it just becomes a cycle, a toxic cycle where growth is not happening, and you find yourself in a sunken place, and you find yourself a whole year later and you're doing exact same stuff that you was doing a year ago, and you're wondering why you're not growing. And so when challenges occur, when dark times require dark goddess, we are in very challenging times. And dark goddess, that is the dark, that is the primordial energy in which all creation come from, including light. Light came after darkness. It came out of darkness, from darkness. And so we are here to manifest this new light from darkness. And when it comes to religion and politics and things like that, y'all, we want the world to change, but a lot of us are not willing to be a part of that change. So yes, I've said this over and over again, free will is going to cost you something when you truly start living in it and expressing it. But I believe, it is my personal belief, that when you die, the regrets, the things that you should have done that you didn't do, the truths that you should have stood on that you didn't, you don't validate yourself, you don't validate your own journey. Those things come back to haunt you. And maybe those are some of the things that cause us to not go to the level we're supposed to in the afterlife. So yes, you kind of do have to say, you know what? F the world. F what the world thinks about me, because as long as you believe in you and believe in the path that you're taking and where you are, then what other people think and believe becomes less of an influence on the way that you live your life. None of us should be influencing each other to live any way that is opposite of what we feel is of our highest good for the best. And so this is why me and Ernest on this channel, when we came out of religion, the most spiritual thing that you could do that shows the fruits that you are spiritual minded and not religious is that you are able to love people despite whatever your differences is and your beliefs. And you are able to step aside and allow people to walk their own path and believe whatever the hell they want. You don't feel offended by it. You don't feel like you have to control and change them. And, you know, and this is the truth. It is what it is. And I'm not going to say I hate to say it, because that's what I was going to say, but I don't hate to say it. I love to speak the truth. And a lot of times when we speak the truth, we say, I sure hate to say this, but, you know, we got to come out of that. You're supposed to love the truth. And truth very rarely feels good. You know, those hard truths are the ones that are going to transform you. So we must allow people to walk their own path. Even your children, you have to allow your children to make decisions, make mistakes, and fall. Yes, give them wisdom and knowledge along the way and inform them of the outcomes that are possible. But this totalitarian, governmental, unconscious, subconscious system we've been raising our children in and existing in our romantic relationships in, like, it's not serving us, it's not serving humanity, and you cannot continue that way and be able to be your higher self and experience your best life. So detach yourself from feeling like you have to control every aspect of everything outside of you, because where that is really coming from is that you don't feel like you have control over yourself and your life. So it makes you feel better to impress your truth on other people and try to force them, try to dominate them to see things your way. That is a very miserable way to live. So I would say go within, venture into the darkness, have this conversation with yourself. Ask yourself, do I allow people to exist in their truth? Or do I live trying to dominate, force, and control everything outside of me that is not in alignment with what I believe is true? This is going to take you healing your nervous system to be able to do this. And you're going to feel it. You know, somebody may be expressing how they feel about religion and how awesome it is and how awesome Jesus is. And in the back of your mind, you may be like, Jesus is a thought form. Jesus is a created being in the way that we're believing it. And it has actually done a lot of harm. From the slave ship Jesus to all of the people who were murdered in the name of Jesus, the Roman Catholic Church. You just go on and on and on and on and on as to why this Jesus entity is not appealing to you, because maybe you have a deeper understanding of the creation and the mechanisms behind the purpose of the monotheistic religions. Can your nervous system listen to them say that? You can translate it in your own mind. You don't have to say anything. If it's working for them, you let it work for them, you know? You can translate it in your own mind and say, okay, I know what they mean. If they're saying, Jesus, heal me, I know what they really mean from my perspective. You don't have to try to change them or the way that they're perceiving it, because that may be the tools that they have to interface with life. And who are you to remove that, unless every step of the way you're going to hold their hand and replace all of their beliefs? You could destroy somebody's world like that. So I want to challenge you, in this, because we're living in a world now where, just like with police officers, out of fear and out of lack of control and out of a place of hatred that is coming from a very deep psychological place within, lives are being taken and people are being injured, and we see this. But are you doing this energetically? Are you? We speak the power of life and death in the tongue. Are you being irresponsible with your words? If you are, sit with it. Sit with the answer to what that is. And then ask your higher self, ask the universe, lead me to a solution. My heart is open to receive correction, to lead me to a solution. And you will attract that solution when your heart is truly open and ready for this transformation to take place. And, so I just wanted to say that, because the energy of religion was definitely very destructive. And a lot of us still have a really hard time allowing people to just be authentically who they are. You don't have to like it. But a spiritual minded person knows how to just witness and observe what's happening. And you don't have to apply a judgment to the end of that. And you don't have to walk around like the judge and the juror, prosecuting and convicting yourself and everybody. Let's practice allowing. Let's practice surrender. Okay, and let's begin stepping away from force and domination, because that is a colonialist way of being and thinking, where you will just take somebody's whole life, language, spiritual practices, all of that, demonize it, and just and what happens is, when we enslave each other unconsciously, you're being part of the problem. And maybe, just maybe, the reason you have such a hard time with allowing people the right to feel how they want to feel and behave however they want to behave is because you're feeling that inside of you, that you're overcritical, that your negative self-talk, you actually listen to it and agree with it with your actions. And so I would like to challenge you to just practice living in this energy of the highest expression of love, which is unconditional. And I do not believe this is an overnight thing. This is a lifelong journey of learning to do this. Just learn how to just be. You don't have to control, just learn how to flow. This domination and this force and this energy, you want to make love to life. You want to make love to yourself. When you speak, you want your conversations to have a resonance of love. And you could be speaking a hard truth to somebody and it could still have a resonance of love. But you don't have to control the way people react to you to feel good, happy, or safe. If you live that way, then under those conditions, you will never find joy. You will never find happiness, peace, and bliss. And I have challenged myself to continue to express my truth. And very soon, I will be going deeper into some light codes that I received about religion and the impact that it had on me. And I know that for so many people, and especially for the people that I grew up around in my circle of influence, a lot of them, that's the truth that they don't want to hear, and that's okay. So I'm probably going to lose a lot of followers again. But that's the price that I'm willing to pay so that I'm not forfeiting a beautiful future for fear of the way people are going to respond to what I perceive to be true. As we always say, may your third eye has just been kissed. Peace.